Okay, Mr. Editor, those batteries running down yet?
No. You were pretty...
Two guys that are as long-winded as us, you would think that they have to invent a new battery.
Well...
all right, this is going to be kind of a... things like saws that aren't cool. A little bit about the ranchers here. And we had that other thing that we did at the Cutting Edge where we showed the new 465 a little bit. You know, not that we're turning this into a commercial, and we don't want to, but you know, some guys were like, well, what's the difference? What did they really change on it? So we got an example of new and old on the ranchers. You know, the rancher thing is just a marketing term. To a lot of people it's a model, but it's goes back to the white top 44s and 61s that had rancher written on them. Originally that said Practica, and nobody knows what Practica means, and maybe Nico over in Norway does, but you know, then they took the rancher thing on there, and you know, Steel had the farm boss. Then the rancher thing went away until you know, Steel came out with the 029 and 039, and you got to kind of give them credit for really kind of creating a new marketing segment with that stuff, because what they did is they took the modern plastic clamshell type concept and just made a bigger saw, and it really appealed to a lot of people. Now Husky got caught, you know, not quite knowing what to do with that, and I'm being complimentary to Still right now because
first time for everything.
yeah, but yeah, it was great, and they sold tons of those things. So what Steel was left, or what Husky was left to do, was they wrote Rancher on the 55, and they put the 18-inch bar, and they actually it was, you know, you're talking 53 cc's. The 029 was 56. You know, the Rancher, the 55 Rancher, I think was an easier saw to use to work on. But you know, the Steel, part of what that was, with that 029, they created the image of a bigger saw, and you're getting a bigger saw for a good price. And they did a lot of work. I'm not saying they don't run. They run great. So then Husky came out about 10 years ago now with this chassis. It was like 05, 06. So it's
was it that late?
Yeah. So anyway, we're just going to show the differences with the new one that came out. You're going to need to get close over here with that thing. Carry the camera, make everybody seasick. Some things here, this is the old style, and most people are kind of familiar with this. When I first saw these, I was like, I don't think I like them. And I kind of stayed away from them for like the first year. I wanted to see how they were going to run. These saws are really super easy to work on. Now, I know that, I guess we should do it from this side. Like when you got to get the carburetor out of here, it's so easy to, you just take this little blue thing here, move it up like that, needle nose, and there's your throttle link. I mean, now everything's out of the way, and you can get the carburetor out or do whatever you got to do in there. Sometimes it's easier, just like when you're changing a fuel line, if you just get this thing out of there so you can get down at the fuel line. So that's just one of the things that that they came up with. It's not as quick to get it back in, but it's really not that hard either. You just got to find a little hole in the tank. Of course, I went and closed that again on myself. Open it up. Throttle leak drops in. Snap. And it's done.
Well, here's a couple of points now that you're thinking throttle linkage. That's not as easy as the 257, that series.
No.
That series is like wicked easy. But here's the deal, and this is what sets us apart, is that's still a push-pull arrangement.
Yeah.
And there's no rotation on the operating rod there. You basically push it, and it's a linear deal. You're not changing from one rotation to another. The ones that actually have like a lever arrangement where you got to push down on one and that pushes on a linkage, you just got all those extra wear points. This here, you got no wear points. You push and you pull. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have a bearing surface to rotate on.
Now this is the middle one. This is the 460 Rancher. The original 455 is still the best seller. I think this one's pretty good. I think at 60 cc's you're starting to get to the point where, I mean, it's just like the comparable Stills. These are a little bit bulkier. There's a little bit of weight to them. And at 56 cc's you can say it's too heavy for what it is. At 60 I think you're kind of where you can say it makes sense.
Well, it doesn't get any heavier when they have the larger displacement.
Right. So now we got the new one, the 65. And this thing has got a lot of differences. As you see, you got the snap tops, and I don't know if I can get them all on the same log, but yeah, I guess we can. If they fall, they fall. You'll see this is now an auto-tune saw, and it's real different. The cylinder, it's a completely different casting. It's kind of.
Try to get up close on that.
It's slanted a little bit.
Yeah, let me do this.
Not so much. It's really the fins are slanted at the top, but if you look at the bottom of the cylinder, it's still kind of straight up and down. All right, this is all quite a bit different here. Different air filter, different intake. Still got the primer on them on either one. This is an auto-tune carb. Almost none of this stuff really interchanges parts-wise. The only thing that might is I think this top half of the gray handle. This is different. This is different. Top covers are different. Tank is different. Starter's different. This side cover is different. They kind of look the same, but the one thing that's significant is because they want to sell this saw with longer bars. It's the whole thing, because they've always had 2 entries in this, where steel has the third, up around the 64, 65 cc's. And here again, it's just an inexpensive saw that's bigger. And at 65 cc's now, you know, the size and the weight is not out of balance for the size of the engine.
Power of the engine.
Yeah, this is the regular
Large mount.
wide tail mount bars now versus the narrow tail. So they don't interchange, and that's why the side covers don't interchange. This has got a 20-inch on it, which is how we're going to run it today. The skews that you can buy this, you can buy with 24s, which I think is probably okay. You can also get it with a 28, which not in this side of the country. That doesn't make any sense at all. You know, maybe out, and if you're in Softwood out west or something, I guess a 28 is probably cool on this. You know, I don't really know. I think there's a little more weight there. Not a lot, but you know, if we're being anal and splitting hairs, I think it's a little bit heavier. Part of it's because it's got a real bar on it. The one thing that you do not get with the new 465 is that stupid farm tough bar, which is just trash.
That was a laminated bar, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's just junk. They don't last. I mean, tough, it's not tough at all. So, you know, Steel has the farm boss, Husky has the rancher, but then they write farm tough. I don't get that. You know, it's like, besides, what's the difference between a rancher and a farmer?
I can tell you the difference.
Well, I know what the difference is. What's your difference?
No, the farmer drives a tractor around, and the rancher chases cattle around.
Well, here again, it's like, it's almost, but see,
Uh-oh,
you got a lot of stuff here, right?
Yeah.
And you got cows, you got horses, right?
Yeah.
The reason you're a farmer, not a rancher, is because you wear the baseball hat. If you wore a cowboy hat, you'd be a rancher.
That's perfect.
I mean, that's what you wore out in Colorado, right?
Yeah, I still have one.
And tell you, we put a cowboy hat on you right now, you look just like Horse Cartwright.
Yeah, you're right. Got the fat straps on it, everything.
Yeah. Howdy, Paul. So, anyway.
That's perfect.
That's what's different about these. We ought to use them to, you know, like do something with this tree here. How long have you been talking about taking this tree down?
What tree?
This tree.
What?
The one that's like dead. We're always working here.
It's a freaking tree.
We're gonna leave it until it's have branches falling on us.
So what, do you want to murder a tree now?
Yeah, why don't you take it down now? Here, you haven't even run this yet.
I don't have my stuff on.
All right. Well, shut that off, and then you can run your rancher on your farm.
Okay. I don't have a cowboy hat. Well, I guess that tree doesn't have a chance. It's been deemed it's time for it to go. Gotta miss the taps. That was a tapped tree. So I got this guy wanting to know what you call the cuts. Now, I don't know what to call them. How about tree hits the ground cut? I better let Bob get some of the fun. So here's your rancher right here. And does a fine job of cutting down trees.